Hey, how you doing guys? ZedEye here. So before I proceed, I wanted to mention once again, I apologize about my voice. You can hear a little bit of a different tone due to I'm a little bit sick. I got a throat issues at the moment. But I wanted to discuss of The Last of Us Part 1 remake for the PlayStation 5. Now, in the previous videos that I made, I was really straight up saying that I was very disappointed. I was like very embarrassing compared to like what The Last of Us Part 1 is actually introducing it with the amount of content and amount of different and new features that it will have. Just basically questioning, is it really truly worth the full price tag? It's like a lot of people will be saying the same thing, and there were, of course, some of the fans, of course, will be saying otherwise, saying like the graphical leap in like what it has and what it introduces already warrants it a $70 price tag. Personally, for me, no, I don't see that. That's why I have called that on it in the past two videos of mine about The Last of Us Part 1 remake. Now, PlayStation has actually kind of made a response, and they revealed and they released this breakdown video of The Last of Us Part 1, and the features, new gameplay, and the things that it's going to be getting changes, and new things that will be introduced into this game. Obviously, a lot of things has been cut, right? Multiplayer, as an example, is one of the things that's been cut because we obviously will be getting next year a standalone multiplayer for The Last of Us. Personally, I cannot wait for that. It's going to be very exciting. I'm sure it's going to be pretty good too. Now, the scope of this game is actually doesn't seem to be getting any larger, but I definitely want to touch on a few things that definitely, at least, I don't know if it's really kind of piqued my interest. But I definitely want to mention here because, it definitely warrants it, few things that actually has been touched on and actually look quite convincingly good. Convincingly. I'm not saying it was, though. I will get into that in a few seconds. Okay, new enemy and companion AI. That's one of the features that they have touched on, and they have actually, discussed it further, saying that they have make a breakdown of, features and what's going on behind that. 3D audio, but that's of course a part of the PlayStation 5 ecosystem and also the console. Real-time cutscenes, that's always a good thing. Usually you would definitely see and expect, with new games that are coming out. Nowadays they are already introducing all that good stuff. Haptic feedback, that's of course the part of the PlayStation 5 feature as well. That's definitely what we'd be expecting, of course. Industry leading accessibility is always a bonus for a lot of people who are, unfortunately disabled, or perhaps they have different issues. And, always these little things can definitely help and get them a better experience to, play these games. Model viewer, that's always a nice feature, even though I'm never going to be using it, I know that for sure. New photo mode also introduces extra things. Obviously the game looks beautiful, definitely does have that and needs it, I think, as well. A lot of people will definitely be abusing this mode for sure. I'm definitely going to be seeing that everywhere, all over the Twitter feeds and stuff like that. A lot of awesome pictures, even though I don't really use it. But still, a lot of people definitely will be using this feature. Okay, now this is actually kind of a new thing, I believe so, and the next thing is the speed run mode. So basically, it allows you to see how fast you can speed run through this game. Perhaps maybe there will be a tie-in with the trophies with this as well. It's gonna be interesting to find out. And also that's including the permadeath mode. That's another thing, that's always a good thing, like, challenging things, again, that depends on the person who wants to have some challenges and difficulties within the game, and maybe they like to go through it with this as well. Personally, for me, I don't think I would want to go through a story experience with the permadeath mode on, but I don't know, that's just me. 4K, 30 FPS, 60 FPS with the dynamic 4K. Obviously, there's only one correct choice. It is the 60 FPS. Whatever it is, 60 FPS is the best way to go about it. VRR options is also going to be included. This is very good. This is the things that you would definitely expect, and these are the things that you would actually you would expect to see in this sort of a, well, I want to say remake, but again, this is more, let's be real, this is a remaster. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people will be pissed off about this, what I'm saying, that this is a remake, it's not a remaster. I'm sure a lot of you will still argue to say this even after the breakdown gameplay. I have to say one thing, guys. Unfortunately, there still is no gameplay improvements. We have seen it, everything that has been showcased, it is a part of the PlayStation 3 version of The Last of Us. Few things that have been improved, like I already touched on the key point details. I'm not gonna deny that they are pretty damn incredible. But all this features, stuff like that, and I believe there's a little bit more as well, like for example new character designs and how they look very, very good. Again, a remaster. But still, you know, I can say that for certainty this fucking game should have needed some sort of an upgrade path. As long as you have the Last of Us PlayStation 4 version of the remastered version of that game, and then you will have an upgrade path, or let's say an additional $20 you need to pay, I'll be good with this, because this would have been the best option for this amount of price, because the remake and the amount of time that's been, you know, look, I know that Naughty Dog is taking more than 2 years to create this, and actually they want to make this the best possible experience. And like the Druckmann, he mentions all the time that this is a definitive edition of The Last of Us that they always wanted to create, because of the technology limitations back then when they were creating the PlayStation 3 version of The Last of Us, you know, it was unfortunately was not able or not capable of meeting that very high expectations and very high quality bar. But now, since the PlayStation 5 already has released, and now they're specifically making for the PlayStation 5, and future will be also coming to PC, so now this means like Druckmann has mentioned, a definitive version of this game. Okay, now, long story short, unfortunately, to me, this is still not warranting a $70 price tag. I'm sure a lot of you will say, maybe we'll even be kind of convinced otherwise, and maybe even that breakdown trailer has convinced you. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is the definitive like answer for me to pay full $70 for this game. This game needs an upgrade path. That's one of the things. I still think that this game is way too expensive for $70. And you know, this is coming from, this is coming from me, right? This is coming from a PlayStation fan. This YouTube channel is based mainly around PlayStation products, PlayStation games, and PlayStation, you know, news information, all that good stuff. Obviously, I'll be more biased towards it. But if I see bullshit, if I sniff fucking bullshit, I'm gonna call out on it. This is bullshit. $70 is too much for this game and what it has. Now, I'm gonna say this one thing. I don't think this game is worth about $20 alone if you want to make it like a purchase, like a completely brand new. Because the amount of stuff and content that has been introduced here, I definitely think that it warrants a high price tag. But being the game that is a only story-driven experience mainly, and that has no fucking gameplay improvements, and don't tell me it has, because it doesn't. We've seen it, and it's been confirmed, because, well, they kind of lied about it as well. It really does not have the, like, for example, you cannot crawl, you cannot dodge. It's just like, what? It's just, what? Like, The Last of Us Part 2 had these features. Why can you not do it here? This is a remake, it's not a remaster. Is that what they say? But look how that's turning out to be. Now, I know that a lot of people say, like, well, just vote with your own wallet. Or, for example, to me, this seems like it's a good price tag. It seems like it's going to be plenty of content. That's fine. You know, like, you know, you do you. This is your own money, and you... Like everyone says, vote with your own wallet. If this is what you want and this is what you always wanted, then obviously we're gonna get more of it. Meaning, for example, older-ish that are not even a decade-old games are gonna get sort of remakes like this, but truly they're actually remasters, and they're gonna be putting a price tag of a full price tag, mind you, of like a brand new game equivalent. Then, yeah, we're gonna get more of this, unfortunately. It's gonna be a lot of bullshit, unfortunately, but that's what people want, and perhaps that's what they will get. And it's unfortunate, of course it is, but, you know, people, like, they need to vote with their wallets. When you take a look at the other games that have introduced the remasters, and of course you can argue to say that a lot of other remasters simply have visual fidelity improvements and a frame rate. That's really it. And yeah, they just simply put a title of remaster. That's it, that's good enough. You know, like a lot of cases, when a lot of people will be arguing and saying like, okay, this is just a remaster, so it's not a remake, and you know, you'll be always kind of making these kind of comparisons between the games. For example, a lot of people will argue and say, well, Demon's Souls was considered to be a remake, so like, and there's barely anything changed from the, you know, from the original Demon's Souls to the Demon's Souls for the PlayStation 5. And you know, a lot of people will criticize that as well. And that's fine, of course, but like, you know, a remaster, I personally believe, so it can introduce new features. Like I said, fidelity mode, the performance as well, improvements and additions and extra additions to that as well, but that's still considered to be a remaster. This is why I'm saying that The Last of Us Part 1, well, again, a remake, right? Everything that it has basically equivalent of a remaster from all the experiences of all other games that we've seen that did receive remasters in like higher form and stuff like that, right? They were just the amount of content, new things that they have add on. It's just, like I said, an equivalent of a remaster. Now again, I can see that Naughty Dog has done a phenomenal job in terms of the animations, improvements with the character designs, and an extra few details to it, of course, as well. And it looks incredible. It genuinely does. I never had any issues the way it looks. I genuinely think this looks incredible. Maybe even higher than just a typical remaster would go. Because like, we still have to see one factor, right? Saints Row, as an example, just in a little bit of an example, Saints Row also the third, right? Like it received a remaster, but when you take a look at the remaster, their character designs have been changed as well. The characters' faces, they look different, and that's still considered to be remaster. But other than that, in terms of the fidelity, in terms of the performance, that has been improved upon as well. That still is considered to be a remaster. In The Last of Us, of course, I'm not gonna say it received less. No, of course it didn't. It received even more than that. Well, it still considers to be a remake because perhaps just more features. Look, my problem with this, that The Last of Us is a pure story driven kind of game, right? It's mainly is about the story, but I wanted to have the gameplay elements to be improved upon as well. That's my gripe with it. My gripe, I want to have a better experience in terms of its gameplay. I wanted to have dodging, I wanted to have improved melee combat, I wanted to have crawling as well. And if it doesn't have these things, that's just like already solidifies that this is actually a more closer to a remaster than a remake that perhaps that a lot of people and I wanted. Right, again, it still is very unfortunate. Like, I feel like they should have actually introduced extra things towards the story. Maybe they will, we don't know, of course. It's possible that they actually have secret things that we are not aware of. And as such, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, it's possible. But, you know, so far that has been introduced, even including with the breakdown, it's only kind of solidifies everything that I mentioned. Either way, guys, no, $70 no, it's too much. So far that what I've seen, it looked good, that's it, that's all I gotta say. Alright, like and subscribe, see you guys all, have a wonderful day.